Howdy folks, I've been dragging my feet on this one because technique is a serious subject with me. In the last video, isometrics for guitarists. In the first place, I was kind of disappointed to see that I only had 3 actual real exercises. 2 of these did not come from the book Isometrics for Guitarists, but came from my friend, Mr. Freeze, or Tom Mason. He taught me guitar technique that he learned from his teachers and Berklee College of Music, where he attended. And here's what it looks like when he's playing. So music, of course, is an art form, and there are no real rules. So you can use whatever technique you want, and whatever will get you there. But if you go out and compete on the golf course with some homemade golf swing, you're not very likely to win the PGA Masters tournament. And like my friend Bruiser Brownhouse once told me, it's not the mistakes you make, it's how you recover. And then he told me that I'm the one who told him that. So I was kind of proud of myself for saying it and kind of ashamed of myself for forgetting it. Anyway, this exercise for the left hand and this exercise for the right hand both came to me from Mr. Freeze. Thank you, Mr. Freeze. Now let's get down to business. When you pull on a muscle, the muscle on the opposite side has to relax, simultaneous. And when you're playing quickly, playing fast, they have to sync up perfectly. And it's going to take a while. Usually it takes a while for these muscles to coordinate. For me, I had to play, I don't know, 2 years, pushing, just pushing these muscles as hard as I could before the relaxing muscles got the message of when to relax. And I had to keep pushing and pushing, and finally one day they gave up. And from that point, because I had built up the muscles, the more I relaxed, the faster it got. So that was good, and it's kind of a secret I don't ever hear anyone talking about. So, what else? When you're practicing as opposed to performing, you want to do things really correctly. Practicing incorrect stuff is not good. So, when you're going through patterns and scales, you want to lift and pull back, hit the note and pull back. Just like in football practice, running through the tires and lifting your knees as high as you can. The high knee lift is what you do when you're practicing, or what you should do, at least according to my technique. And on to the picking hand. The pick, or plectrum, goes in your hand like so. And this talking hand puppet movement comes into play with the dip and pluck. Obviously, your arm does some elbow action for playing, but when it comes down to it, the thumb has the final say-so. Now, I found myself dipping and plucking, and I notice I do a sort of a figure 8 movement with my hands, in and out. Another thing I've found is that I pivot on my middle knuckle to help with the dip and pluck. So that really works for me. And you want to keep your pick flat and straight with the strings. That's flat and straight as you can get them. I see most guitarists pointing down at their left foot with the hand and the pick, and I would slap their hands with a ruler if I was... And when you're performing, it's easy to let this drop, and you get lazy and don't do everything ideally. But that's okay, because you're performing, you're not practicing. Practicing, you want to do everything as correctly as possible, as I already said. So, remember, these moves are exaggerated and not what you would really do when you're performing. So the pick goes in the picking hand like so. This pick is one that I made for myself, and we'll talk about making your own picks in a later video. The last bit of the forefinger is a platform to rock back and forth. So no pointing the finger with your hand. Now, I see most guitarists pointing their finger with the pick, and I think that's not a good idea at all, and it works against trying to rock back and forth with your thumb. You want it to be a pivoting platform like so. Now, I'll give Jimi Hendrix a pass on this, because he has to lift his hands over the volume knobs to get to the strings. So it would be difficult for him to use what I call correct technique. But that's okay. He did okay. So, what else? So my next video, I believe, is going to be on exercises. Different actual patterns and what not to play. So keep this under your hat and don't spill the beans, because I don't want a whole bunch of people out there suddenly as good as me. That wouldn't be any good at all. So, until next time, and keep practicing.
Thank you.